Aira thought she'd found safety with her relatives after losing her parents, but soon discovers she's not just adopted. She's a pawn in their dangerous game. Will she escape before it's too late? 13-year-old Aira stood quietly outside a large iron gate, clutching a small bag and her mother's diary. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Just a week ago she had a loving home. Now she had nothing, no mother, no father, no choice. The door creaked open. Maya, a tall woman with sharp eyes and a tight smile, stood at the entrance. "So you're Aira," she said flatly. "Come in." Aira stepped inside the unfamiliar house. It smelled of expensive perfume and cold silence. Maya's son Raju, leaning on the staircase railing, gave her a mocking smirk. "Your room is upstairs. Keep quiet." "This is not a playground," Maya added, already walking away. That night, Aira opened her diary, the only piece of her mother she had left. Inside it was a faded photo, and a page marked, "Aira's name is on the land. Keep this safe." She didn't understand what it meant, but she had a strange feeling her aunt did. As Aira drifted off to sleep, she didn't know this house wasn't a home. It was a trap. Orders replaced kindness. Aira cooked, cleaned, and stayed out of sight, just as she was told. One afternoon, Aira accidentally dropped a glass while serving water. Raju shouted, "She's always breaking things. She's useless." Maya slapped her hard. "You're lucky we took you in," she hissed. "Don't make me regret it." Aira's eyes filled with tears, but she said nothing. She knew crying wouldn't help here. That night, while putting clothes away, Aira saw Maya in her room, reading the diary she kept hidden. Maya's eyes scanned the page mentioning land in Aira's name. Her lips curled into a sinister smile. "So that's where it is," she whispered to herself. Aira peeked from the doorway, heart pounding. She now understood. Maya never adopted her out of love. She wanted something else. Her mother's diary wasn't just a memory. It was a key. And someone was trying to steal it. Aira knew she had to protect the diary. And herself. She carefully tore out the page about the land and hid it inside the lining of her school bag. The next day, while taking out the trash, she saw Grandma, Maya's elderly neighbor, watering her plants. "You look tired, dear," Grandma said gently. "Are they treating you well?" Aira hesitated, then gave a small nod, but her eyes said more. Grandma noticed. Over the next few days, Aira began to speak in bits. Scratched arms, missed meals, bruises she couldn't hide. Grandma listened, asked nothing, but began keeping notes. Meanwhile, Maya grew impatient. She started digging through old papers, calling lawyers, trying to transfer the land. Illegally. But without the full details, she couldn't. One evening, Maya cornered Aira. "Where's the rest of that diary?" she snapped. "I don't know," Aira replied, voice shaking. "Maybe it got lost." Maya's eyes narrowed. "Don't play smart with me." But Aira wasn't playing anymore. She had already handed a copy of the torn page to Grandma, who had promised to take care of it. The game had quietly begun. Aira watched from the window as Grandma walked out of her house, an envelope tucked under her shawl. She was going to the Child Protection Office, just as she had promised. Back inside, tension grew. Maya's frustration turned into cruelty. Aira was made to scrub floors till her hands ached, and she was denied food if she made even a small mistake. Raju continued mocking her, whispering, "Soon you'll be sent away, just like trash." But Aira stayed quiet, strong. She knew the clock was ticking. 2 days later, a white car parked outside the gate. A tall woman and a man in uniform stepped out. Maya opened the door, pretending surprise. "Yes. How can I help you?" she smiled sweetly. "We received a report about a child being abused here," the officer said. "We'd like to speak with Aira." Aira was called. She hesitated, her hands trembling, but then met the woman's eyes and told everything. The punishments, the threats, the diary, the land. Maya tried to interrupt, but the officer raised his hand. Enough. For the first time in weeks, Aira felt heard. The storm she had feared had arrived, but it wasn't for her. Maya's facade crumbled quickly. The officers inspected the house, collecting evidence. Aira's bruises, her story, and Grandma's testimony were enough to expose the truth. As Maya tried to defend herself, the officers placed her under arrest. "You're being charged with child abuse and attempted fraud," one of them stated firmly. Raju, who had been watching in silence, was also taken into custody for his involvement. Aira stood still, a mixture of relief and disbelief washing over her. She had feared this day, but now that it had come, she felt a strange sense of freedom, like the weight she'd carried for so long was finally lifting. Grandma stepped forward, wrapping an arm around Aira. "You're safe now, dear," she whispered as Aira nodded quietly, looking at the officers. Aira was placed in a new foster home, one where love and kindness replaced the cruelty she had known. Over time she began to heal. She started school again, where she was welcomed by new friends and supportive teachers. The legal battle over her inheritance continued, but for now, Aira had what she had always needed: a family who cared. And justice had finally found her.